We are now getting into our game. Apologies for the delay, folks. We did have a couple of technical issues. I think one of our players was unable to stay connected to the game. Hopefully, he'll be able to maintain his connection long enough for us to be able to cast this game.
Awesome. Yeah, and back onto that email thread. Like, I'm sitting here as part of this email thread of the Able Gamers planning phase, and they're talking about getting these super units out of mods into the game, and I'm sitting here knowing all about Titans, not able to say a damn thing. Like, like really, you don't need to be doing that, guys, but I can't tell you why. Nope.
Yeah, you just wanted to be able to say something, I bet. It's like, guys, don't put too much work into this, but you couldn't say it without giving the game away.
Was dying to say something, but couldn't.
Right. Okay, so here we are. We are in round 3 of the Mystery Mayhem tournament. And assembled in front of us in yellow, we have Firmiger, and in black, we have Admiral... Admiral, what is his last... I can't see the end of his name. Oh, no. Let's just go for Admiral, shall we? I apologise profusely.
It is Admiral General, to make it even more confusing. Yes, Admiral General versus How did you say we were pronouncing his name? Firmiger, yes. Okay. Now we're on point.
Excellent. Opening builds. We have got Firmiger going for some bots, and we have got Admiral General going for vehicles. Now this is an interesting map here. This is Crag. There are two halves of this planet almost. One is full of plateaus, which the metal is quite easily defensible. And on the far side, you have this rather sparse terrain here with a couple of hills every so often, but largely quite open for most battle purposes. So it's always interesting to see which of the two halves the players sort of err towards. I tend to find people prefer the plateaus because it's more predictable and more controllable. But they often find that they get caught out when their opponent decides, actually, I quite like the open approach instead.
I have to say, Tom did a really good job on this map. There's like ramps and plateaus and stuff everywhere. It makes it really interesting terrain-wise. You've got ramps. You got 3 different ramps into the base, looks like. That might be... No, that's... So 3 ramps going into the base. So... If you decide to go, okay, I'm going to go, the one direction with all the ramps and plateaus towards my enemy's base, well, you still got to watch the backside because there's a ramp along the flatter area that goes right into your base as well.
It's good to see a map that shows off all of the extra terrain features you guys added with this patch. And now we're starting to see early on the benefits of having these bots early on. They are the faster of the 2 branches of land-based combat unit. And so you've got these docks here. From Firmiger, who are aggressively defending this plateau here, whereas you got this slightly slower progression of Bolos coming through from Admiral General, Admiral Scrub. I'm going to call him Admiral. It's just going to be easier for everyone concerned. They're slowly working their way towards the plateau. If Firmiger was being a bit more aggressive with his docks, he would have lost that fabricator quite early on because they would have been overpowered quite easily. However, both players seem fairly defensive so far. A little bit of scouting going on. I've not actually seen that much from Firmiger just yet. I'm going to quickly see. He has not really done much scouting at all, to be honest. All the scouting tends to be here by Admiral.
Yeah, you do pay for going the bots, though. Like, the bots are great. You get the fabbers, you get the fast-moving bots to go and harass your enemy and stuff. But you also end up with a bot that's less efficient. Like, you can see Firmiger's bots are, like, draining 8 metal a second for 800 energy. And you look at Admiral's fabber, and it's draining, like, 11 metal per second for 700 energy. So the fabrication vehicles are more efficient, build faster, but you do pay for that in speed. Whereas the bot fabbers, they're faster, more maneuverable, but they also build slower and cost more energy to run.
Worth noting that if you choose to go heavily down the bot route, you actually don't have a dedicated anti-air unit. And what we saw a short while ago, actually, was this little anti-aircraft turret here, placed in a forward position here by Firmiger to compensate for that. Used to great effect. The bomber was coming in to try and take out some fabricators, but instantly shot down. We now see a little bit of a confrontation here, and actually getting some good use of these sparks. These are new units added in the patch. They require energy to run. They're great at dealing with swarms of units, particularly good as the anti-dox measure. Some nice aggressive play there.
Those Tesla bots are awesome, and I love the effect. The AoE
I think they look
damage,
beautiful.
Yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous.
So we have no dedicated anti-air units, but if you will insist on hovering a hummingbird there for long enough, the docks can shoot at the air, although largely ineffectively.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a good little bit of aggressive raiding there by Firmiger, and he's managed to push Admiral off that plateau for the meantime. And again, because he's using vehicles, he's going to be that much slower getting back up there to keep rebuilding.
Yep,
Fairly even. Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, Fergmeier definitely using his speed advantage here with running bots. He's expanded out. He's got more metal income than Admiral at the moment, and he's better able to react to what Admiral is doing because he can move his units that much faster.
I do feel like Firmiger is being a little bit too defensive here. I mean, you've got this large blob of units here. Really, for this earlier stage in the game, you can be a bit more aggressive. Use smaller groups and use the bots for what they're really good at, which is harassment. Unfortunately, because he's got the docks grouped in with the slightly slower moving Tesla bots, the overall effect is slightly reduced. Still worth. It's a fairly sizable force that, and Admiral will need to react to that some way. He hasn't actually got that many mobile units on the map right now.
No, Firmiger definitely has the unit advantage here by a significant margin. Actually, I think he's got triple now, almost. Oh, he was almost triple. Looks like Admiral's getting some units out, but yeah, he's got at least double the units on the field.
Firmiger's moving in. I don't think he's aware of the fact that he is, but he's moving in on Admiral's commander. Commander's also unaware of the fact that those docks are there. He's seen them appear in his line of sight now. There are some scouts there. And those docks are now running in. They're going to try and take a stab at that commander if they've got any sense before they're all killed off.
Oh yeah, but Bomber's coming in to try to... He managed to get one drop. Oh man, that unit cannon.
That missed spectacularly. But the docks are running away. In that position, I would have charged those straight in there and gone for that commander.
I don't think that's enough.
There's not enough.
Yeah, they would have died gloriously.
And then they get picked off by bombers. They would have been able to put a bit more damage, being a bit more aggressive there, I feel. No, neither player
these units are just going to get picked off.
Neither player building much outside of their main base. Not much expansion in terms of factory production, no proxy bases, no aggressive commander play. Fairly passive in terms of the base building, but we're seeing all of the aggression here by Firmiger. Look at the economy tabs.
Yeah, it's Admiral's looking pretty bad right now. His commander's not doing anything but moving, so he doesn't have any of that build power going down right now. Doesn't look like he's expanding with any new factories. He's got a couple fabbers up building some metal extractors, being protected by some vehicles up there. But in general, he's not expanding fast enough, not building up fast enough, and he's very quickly falling behind.
Right.
Oh, we see a big group of boom bots here.
What's just happened is Firmiger's just flown a fighter over the head of that commander. He knows where it is. He's making a beeline straight for that commander. He's completely undefended. This could be a commander snipe right here.
Oh, man.
He knows where he is roughly. He's trying to find
He's trying to bait out the Uber cannon. There it is.
What a fantastic Uber cannon. There it is. Get in there. He's not going to get him in there very much. That could have been a commander kill. If he just played that a little bit smarter, that could have been a great commander kill. However, we now see a backup force following up from behind. There are not a lot of defensive units here. That commander's left there all by himself. This is going to be a fight for survival.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The commander's on the back foot. Has to run away from this. Has to really get a good unit.
Yeah, good Uber cannon.
Uber cannon.
That was a fantastic Uber cannon. That was what we needed to see.
That's exactly what he needed. And now he's down to spinners and no threat. And another group of boombots coming in. This time there's units there to protect the commander, though.
Yeah, the Infernos on the front line. Infernos are absolutely lethal. And those bombers coming in, taking out a large swarm of those. He really didn't find that commander in time. And when he did, he didn't react quick enough to send those booms in. He could have had a nice commander snipe there. Those booms just getting absolutely decimated by those Infernos. The close range AoE cannon just shredding through them there.
Absolutely. Yeah, boombots do not stand up to Infernos well at all.
I would go as far as to say that they just don't. They vaporize instantly on contact. I don't think they're even in range for their explosion to do any damage to the Inferno itself most of the time.
No, I don't think so at all. Looks like Admiral. I don't know if Admiral just doesn't know what to do next. His commander's sitting there idle. He just put down a factory that's not building anything yet. He might just be at a loss as to what to do next.
I think he's struggling to have a war on this many fronts. If you look around the back of the planet, you can see that Firmiger's expanded onto all of those open mechs, absolutely unchallenged by Admiral. Admiral is just, at this moment, he is fighting for survival, and I don't think he needs to really make some more aggressive plays to try and throw Firmiger off balance a bit, because at the moment he's in complete command. He knows that Admiral has a wounded commander, and he knows that he's been pushed out of his main base, so he's just able to play this game completely on his own terms, and Admiral really needs to do something to throw that.
Yeah, I think Furmiger needs to start thinking about transitioning to vehicles, or at least needed to start thinking about transitioning to vehicles like 3 or 4 factories ago. Because, yeah, he has a large group of bots, but he's got very little AA, and he ends up losing a lot of his units to just bombers. He does look like he has some AA mixed into this next group that's headed towards Admiral's base, but you know, it's bots versus vehicles, which isn't always a good matchup.
No, but thankfully, Admiral doesn't have that many bombers anymore. He's actually managed to lose most of them in defending his commander. The commander has seen, obviously, that force coming towards him, and he's making a beeline in their direction.
Yeah.
He's just playing hide and seek now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to push this bot. He's going to be able to push this bot force back. I don't think they're going to get close enough to the commander.
But
he's going to need to find like a sneaky way in to get to the commander, like over on this, this side of him that doesn't have any defensive units.
I think maybe this spot force is not going for the commander. Instead, it's going straight for the jugular and going for all of that eco in his base, all of the energy, all of the metal, and then that commander can't do anything.
Yeah, I think Furmiger changed his mind and decided to go for the base instead, which I think was a very good choice.
Or maybe he didn't. Where's he going? I don't think he knows
metal
where he's going either.
extractors? I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to draw all the forces away.
But then
the
what's he
second
gonna,
wave that's
what's he
coming.
going to move in with? He's got a second wave coming in there, but this would have been a great opportunity to lure those forces away, and Admiral has been baited exceptionally there. That commander is wide open for some boom bots.
Yeah, he is. Like,
But it looks
way
like
wide open.
Yeah, Furmiger has transitioned away from booms. Really, at this stage, he's in such a lead. He could be going for T2 if he really wants to play out that long.
Be. He should be, or like I said, I think he should be making the transition to vehicles instead, as his bots are just not holding up against the vehicles at all.
I agree. Bots are great raiders, but they're awful against bases, and they're particularly poor in vehicle one-on-one confrontations like this. When there are Infernos in the mix, you don't really want to get that close if you can avoid it, and he's managed to hold them off a little bit.
Yeah, but now he's got nothing defending his commander. He's just sitting down there with a couple tanks and some bots, and that's it. If Furmiger finds out where his commander is and can get something there quickly. Wow.
I'm just struggling to say Furmiger is completely dominant here, but he's not translating that into an easy win. He could really get in there and snipe that commander, but he's not putting in the force in the right places.
He was dominant. He's losing his dominance, though. Admiral is getting his unit cap up. He's almost caught up with Furmiger. Furmiger is ahead in economy, but not by a ton. He's got 50 metal per second, which is a decent amount. But it's going into bots. And he's losing all these exchanges of bots versus vehicles. He's losing. He is losing all those exchanges, which is giving Admiral the ability to get back into it. As far as the unit count goes.
He really needs to close this off, because I agree with you. The longer this goes on, Admiral is rebuilding his economy, and he's actually done some raiding around the back. If we look, whereas before we were seeing lots of yellow metal extractors, there's now a little bit of black mixed in there as well. Although there's some bombers there trying to make that change a little bit. But he's getting back into the game. His eco is recovering.
And Admiral's actually making a push here.
Which is
he's
fantastic.
Pushing to the outer edge of Furmiger's base, and all he's got to contest with is these bots, which there's a lot of them. Looks like there's enough of them to push him back.
It looks like most of those are sparks as well, and their tanks are so tightly clumped up that they are making fairly light work of them. But now they've managed to kite them at range, beyond their effective range. That's fantastic. That's good tactics there. He needs to hold those at range and keep firing backwards if he can. He's actually gone a bit too far now. He's got a little bit of AA in there. Those bombers won't last long.
No. The AA got taken out. They're easy pickings now. The AA was destroyed by the bombers.
Wow. Okay, he had a little shot there. Unfortunately, I think Furmiger is transitioning away from the lighter armored bots into those more heavily armored Tesla bots. A shorter range on them, slower movement speed, but they are quite punchy if they can get close to you.
Yeah. I think Admiral took the wrong way in. If he'd have looped down and around instead of going right to where the factory rally point was for Furmiger, he might have had a bit more success.
I think that's pretty astute. But again, he's not been scouting, and that is largely his own doing. He's not been scouting his opponent. I know he's been defending, but if you're going to launch an assault like that, he has got scout planes. He's got plenty of them, but he didn't send any in. If he'd been able to identify Furmiger's relatively exposed on the front line commander there, that could have put in a bit of a dent into his health. Might not kill him outright, but certainly would have made him pause for thought.
Definitely would have made Furmiger think about it a minute or two.
I'm still hoping to see a little bit more vehicles. He's just building more and more bot factories, and he's not learning from these exchanges. That he's just not able to close this off with bots alone. He needs some more variety in there. Even some T2 bots would do him well at this point.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that this far into the game, neither one of them has made the transition to tier 2 at all.
And 15 minutes in, that's fairly surprising, really. I've seen a lot of T2 a lot earlier than this in games.
Yeah, it might just be a case of they're just used to the old meta and are not moving to tier 2. But the first one to make it to tier 2 is probably going to win this match.
A sizable advantage, I'd say. They can get into T2 with their opponent not having it. I'm just checking the army count now, and actually at the moment, Dope is on a bit of a back foot. His production is not keeping up with Firmaiger, because Firmaiger has a much larger unit count, although those
bots.
are largely bots.
Yep.
But just looking at the sizes of the swarms on this planet, I'm feeling like that force there is enough to probably end it if Admiral does not react in time. Particularly now those bombers have just sort of swooped in there and dropped a few bombs. Not that many, but enough.
Yeah, those bombs are hurting. Certainly are. Oh well, he's got some air scouts. Go do some scouting.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be great.
If he's just scouted, I don't think he's scouted Firmaiger's base in a while now. He has no idea where his commander is. And if he knew where the commander was, that would at least give him a target to aim for. But at the moment, it seems like his only target is preventing his own commander from dying, which means he's going to end up losing eventually. Just it'll take a lot longer. You've got to be playing a bit more aggressively. You have to make your opponent feel like they have to keep something in reserve just in case. And at the moment, I can suspect that Firmaiger just doesn't feel that at all. He's thinking, well, I've got this. It's just a question of how and when.
Firmaiger has a bot factory here that is just pumping out Faber after Faber after Faber. He might be thinking about finally making the transition to tier 2. I don't know why else he would be building that many Fabers unless he just messed up that build queue.
I would hope that he's looking to do something, because I say now, every time he leaves Admiral for long enough, there goes your bot factory. Every time he leaves Admiral for long enough, he builds up enough forces to defend it. And again, he's sending in this massive bot force here, and those vehicles just kiting them, keeping them at range, and they're being destroyed before. There are loads of sparks in that. Have you seen how many sparks are in that unit mix? If they can get into range, they're going to really hurt, but they've got to get into range first. Yep. And Firmaiger's energy is going to take a massive hit from all of this.
Yep. Now Firmaiger finally getting Admiral to the point where he can't kite anymore because he made it into his base. He can't go back any further than that unless he wants to give up ground.
That was actually quite effective. That
was. He ended up pushing forward, and those Infernos making light work of the Tesla bots.
I have some disappointment for you. He's cancelled the T2 bot factory.
No, he cancelled the tier 2 bot factory. Why? Why?
I'm so hopeful.
Looks like Admiral cleaning up the battlefield, using the wreckage on the battlefield as an excellent source of metal economy.
That is
and he's actually pulled ahead. With those Fabers reclaiming, he's got the economy advantage.
With those, that is one of the additions to this Titan expansion, is that the losses of your opponents crashing up against your front lines can be turned into an eco advantage. We're about to see another confrontation here. These sparks are getting stuck on the CSG. They're trying to fire through the cliffs and not being able to get there successfully. They keep getting stuck and being held out of range by the terrain. They're picked off by this large force of tanks, but actually is getting very, very close to Firmaiger. As the commander is right there. There are Infernos in there. You don't want to get those things too close because the Infernos will chew through them. He's got no idea where that commander is. He's lost. And those bombers just clear through those units.
Oh, man. Did he not have AA, or did it just die too early?
He had no AA. I did not see any AA in that mix.
He's got some combat fabricators, but they just cannot hold up to this bomber barrage. That's too bad. If he had some AA mixed into there, this push would have been a lot more effective.
Those spices just turned up and helped. He's going to push through and get some metal extractors there. If he's clever with those, he'll go straight for the eco. But he's not. He's hugging the factories. You don't want to hug the factories. He's already got plenty of those spare. What you want to be doing is killing off the eco buildings. There we go.
Yeah, he's going for it. He's gonna do some damage. I can't help but think that it would have been more effective if he had some AA. He'd have more units pouring into the back of this base.
Absolutely, but that's a good piece of decisive play there, and they've been left completely unchallenged. Firmaiger's not even defending this anymore. Those units are sat there in his base, dishing out damage. There are Infernos there. You don't want to leave Infernos unchecked in your base. That is a recipe for disaster.
And that's the damage is mounting. Damage is absolutely mounting. And the factory account is coming back to even.
I can't believe this. I would not have predicted Admiral coming back from this. I thought he was down and out, but those unchecked, he's just leaving those in his base. Why is he leaving those Infernos to chew through the back of his base? Firmiger, you need to get back there.
I don't know. I think he's just going to go for an all-in play here. I think he's just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking.
I think he could lose this. Firmiger could lose this. He's lost all his units.
Hey, look, now we've got Admiral sending units out. He's taking out the expanded, metal extractors. He's got tanks going out, taking all these out. I don't see Fabbers going out to claim them yet.
Well, that's fantastic. I can't believe Admiral's managed to pull this back.
He
was on the brink of discussion. And this is what we're saying. By not transitioning away from bots, Firmiger has absolutely scuppered himself. He can't defend against his barrage. He's got weak, paper-thin units charging headfirst into Infernos.
Oh, he's got bombers at the ready, and Admiral still doesn't have any AA in these groups. I don't know why he's not using. Is he just going to do the one pass?
He's going for a snipe. He's going for a snipe. Here we go. Is that going to be enough to kill off the commander?
Oh gosh, that's close.
That's so close to the second pass. He's going to do it. He's going to snipe him. Oh my goodness, what a victory!
Wow.
That was victory from the jaws of defeat. What a game!
Oh my gosh, yeah, right when Admiral was getting ready to turn it around, he gets bomber sniped.
That was absolutely spectacular. Oh, I really enjoyed casting that. I can't believe that just happened. That was so backwards.
That is crazy. I'm like, what is he doing? Okay, so instead of defending his base, he decided to just get a huge amount of bombers and just, I don't know, Hail Mary end the game.
That was so high risk. I'm so glad that paid off.
Oh man, if that bomber snipe had missed.
Yeah, that would have been the end of it.
That would have been it. That would have been the end of the game right there.
I can't believe that. Right. I think we are going to hand over just quickly now for some post-match analysis from Quitch and Ghost, if they're about.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
so
they're still here.
Let us take a look over this game, and what a fascinating game this was. Absolutely. I think, well, we saw two very different approaches, with the one player going for the vehicles, one player going for the bots. And very unusually, actually, the bots player played it like they had vehicles, and the vehicles player played it like they had bots. We saw Admiral running around with small numbers of tanks attacking all over the place, and we saw oh my god, we saw Big F was attacking with his large amounts of bots in single locations. I think going for the Sparks was a mistake when he was making such aggressive plays. Better on the defensive. We saw a lot of the times they went up the ramps, for example, they were shooting into the ramps, not shooting the things at the top of the ramps, and they just don't work that well like that. They're better lurking behind mountains, ambushing nets, because when he did bring that force of Sparks to bear on the tanks, they ripped through those groups in no time whatsoever. You just got to play it smart with the positioning on them. But I mean, a key moment here has got to be, what, the 8th minute? Let's be honest, the game should have ended around this point when this force of boombots gathers up and gets ready to go sniper command. Well, in fact, it was just before 8 minutes, wasn't it? But yes, this force of boombots comes in, and I have to say, this might be some of the worst boombot micro I have ever witnessed. Look at that, that's game right there. And then they run around the command. I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe it's just the vision. Let's just have a look at this with what Big F can see. He's getting fired on. I think he's trying to find the commander. He doesn't know where he is, and that's why he doesn't win right there. Manages to bring it back at the end, but yeah, that was should have been game there at that point. And really, we see it starts to slip from him at that point. Admiral plays quite smart, really. He holds the line. He's got tanks, so he can't push out as hard as his opponent can. But he plays defensive. Probably shouldn't have left the commander hanging out, though. What do you reckon, Ghost?
Well, I mean, I think he was okay. I mean, it seemed to pay off in this situation. I mean, normally, or like what you would want to do, definitely, you would want to pull that commander back, maybe get a combat Fabber on him, just to kind of give him a little bit of healing, since, I mean, it was a slugfest in terms of bots trading for tanks here. And I mean, in a way, you can't really predict the bomber snipe, because it's just one of those unexpected variables that, maybe if he had scouted it, he might have seen it. But I mean, when you're so hyped up that you're about to murder your opponent after, what was it, a 21-minute game of just pure micro here, micro there, it's kind of one of those, like, you just don't see it because you're so focused.
I was really impressed by how Pimmel's played this game, actually. I mean, he leaves the command to exposed, and it ends up costing him the game, but in most other respects, I think he played a really good game. I mean, he fell behind an eco, and then smartly used combat fabbers and normal fabbers to reclaim the wreckage that was being left by the constant attacks he was under, and boosted his eco above that of his opponents. And again, it was turned it around. He was about to crush the base of fewer. Okay, how are we pronouncing this name?
Fewer.
He was about to crush the base of fewer, and then just gets bomber sniped because he's left his commander out there, hanging out, exposed, hasn't repaired it with the combat fabbers, and it ends up costing the game, which is rather unfortunate because in all other respects, I think he played an excellent game. I mean, even the 9-minute mark, I see fabbers running around grabbing the wreckage.
Very much so, and I think that's something that maybe Fewer just wasn't expecting, was just Admiral did such a fantastic job with his tank control. I mean, especially on a larger map like this, when I saw him opening vehicles, I was like, that mobility of tanks is just gonna hinder him really, really hard, just because of their speed. The reaction time is very poor, and especially if you see something like a boombot snipe, there's no way you're gonna be able to get it. I think just his tank control and just his kind of always fighting on like a one-for-one trade scale, he did a fantastic job of just killing every single bot that Fewer tried to send at him.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I mean, I think Fewer played into his hands really with the all spark strategy, when perhaps that was the time to transition away, and perhaps even go for some grenadiers, since he was making all the aggressive plays and he didn't really need the grenadiers to kite at that point. And this kind of terrain on crags really plays into what the grenadiers.
The sparks, I don't know if you caught it at all either, but the sparks sometimes were shooting the CSGs instead of the tanks.
Yeah. They needed to be used a little more carefully. But on the other hand, when they did close the tanks, they ripped through them. Absolutely devastated some of the groups of tanks they ran across. But it's just they've got to get themselves into range to do it. And pushing over open terrain isn't necessarily the best way to do that.